Hello, Jackie Chan. Hello, Saswat. So basically,
Yes,
you
Ritik.
can make me the co-host, me and Datin.
Yeah, yeah, sure.
Thank you.
Ritik, please ask your members to be rename ECL underscore their name.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, please everyone rename yourself as Esel underscore name.
And also, Ritik, text it on group.
Yes, I am doing.
Those who are recent members.
Okay, I am doing.
Please make me co-host. I am supposed to record this.
Shashwat Urvi here. Can you please make me the host? I'll make you a co-host and written.
Urvi, please let us know when will we be allowing the candidates.
Yes, we will do that. Ritik, Kandar, Nisar, Datin, are you guys here?
Yes, Urvi.
Yes. Please let know Jai Krishan and Shashwat know when they can let people in.
Yeah, sure. Urvi? Urvi, are you there?
Yes, Datin.
I was asking that should we start entering the participants?
Yeah. So speaker is here.
Let me just go through the waiting room.
Okay.
No, the speaker is not here yet.
Nisarg, are you here?
Yes, Urvi.
Can you please call speaker and ask them to join in? And
Surely.
It's
Okay.
Niyati Agarwal, speaker. Once have a look, Nisarg.
Yes, so the speaker is here.
please let her in and please see if you can add everyone now. Also, you guys had prepared one screen, right? Please share that.
Welcome, Mridula ma'am.
DC, now you can start admitting peoples.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
You are
Welcome, Rizula ma'am. Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Good evening. Prajapati, right?
Yes, ma'am. Datin Prajapati.
Yeah, Datin Prajapati. Hi, good evening. I'm sorry, I have a really bad, bad cold and also some bad cough.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping it doesn't happen while we're having this meeting. But thank you. Yeah.
Yes, ma'am. Take care. And we'll be starting soon in few minutes. Waiting for all to enter.
Sure, sure. No worries.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you everyone for your patience. We would like to start our event. Innovation is the ability to see the changes in the opportunity, not a threat. Good evening, one and all present here. We take this initiative to welcome our guest speaker, Mridula Chetri ma'am. We would also like to acknowledge our support system and backbone of our college, our director and campus head, Dr. Preeti Saxena ma'am, our deputy director, academics, Professor Hemant Purandare sir, our associate dean, SDCC, Professor Priyanka Mathur Dingra ma'am, our club mentor, Dr. Vanita Joshi ma'am, and Dr. Rupali Srivastava ma'am, and all our beloved attendees. On behalf of the entire ESL family, I, Disha Kamalia, with my co-host Datin Prajapati, would heartily welcome you all for today's workshop on product management and market research.
Generally, when we try to find motivation on becoming good leaders, we always tend to read quotes and autobiographies of famous personalities. But our guest today has left us all stunned by our idea of learning leadership skills. Our speaker has the qualities of a result-driven professional with a global perspective, international and entrepreneurial experience in business strategy development, strategic marketing, and product management.
ESL believes in collaboration and uplifting the community. With this collaborative efforts and the skills that our speaker has, are combination of leadership as well as management skills.
Disha, do you know where the word management originates from? Let me tell you. The probable origin of the word manager comes from the Latin word manus, meaning the hand. A good manager provides the necessary hand for guiding others.
With this, we would like to introduce our speaker of the day, Mridula Chetri ma'am. Mridula Chetri ma'am has pursued her Bachelor's of Science from Chhatrapati Shahuji Maharaj, Kanpur University, followed by Business Administration and Management from Haas School of Business, University of California in Berkeley. She started her corporate journey at IBM India Private Limited and served there for 6 years. Post that, she worked for a couple of years at Nestaway Technology Private Limited. At present, she is the Director of Product Management, Technobi, and Chief Business Officer in Inmovideo Technology Private Limited. Ma'am, we are very excited and it takes a great privilege to learn and listen from you.
Thank you so much, everyone. I think it's a great honor to be present amongst all of you wonderful students who have made time on a Saturday evening. I think it's amazing, just to be interacting and engaging with students, because guys, 12 years ago, 13 years ago, I also started with a dream in my eyes and, and a huge goal and a huge mission in my heart that I wanted to achieve the impossible. And I can tell you that everything is possible. Whatever your heart wants, whatever you dream of, everything is possible as long as you are focused about it, as long as you're willing to toil and work hard, and as long as you're willing to not give up. I think these are 3 very important skills that are required for anyone to be successful. And of course, it's a good idea to, I would say emulate. It's a very good idea to identify who we look up to as our, as somebody that we aspire to be. But also, I feel we have to realize the fact that all of us have unique talents in ourselves. And it's very important to, I would say, discover that particular skill set in yourself and work on it. I think I was fortunate enough to get all of these opportunities, guys. And I say this and I tell this to everyone. Way back when I was pursuing my undergraduation, I did it from a tier 2 college in Kanpur University. And when my father asked me, I was in second year, or I think I probably was in first year, and he asked me, "What do you want to do, Mridula, after this, after you graduate?" And I said, I do not know. And he was like, how can you not know? I said, okay, probably I'll do masters. My ultimate goal was to go to Harvard Business School. I mean, that was my ultimate goal. But I said, I don't know how will I get there. And he says, okay, since you don't know anything and you're not clear about what you want to do in your future, we'll get you married. And I actually got married. All right. But, I had that dream. I had that, I would say, huge desire in myself to make a mark and to be known as Mridula Chetri and not as somebody's wife and somebody's mother or somebody's daughter. I wanted to create my own mark. And I think with that started the struggle of identifying how do I get to where I want to get to, all right, and being absolutely clueless. I'm talking about the pre-internet era. I mean, internet was there. It had just started coming here in India. Personal computers were a luxury back then. I think in my house now, everybody has probably 2 laptops. But back then, even having one single laptop was a big deal. So I'm talking about those times when we didn't have internet, which is as freely as available. So the only way that you could figure out and that, you could identify what you want to do is by trial and error. That's point number 1. By reading newspapers, if you were to get information the way that we get today. And hopefully by talking to right people, which was most of the times not possible in my case, since I come from an army background. I think what I really want to highlight here, guys, is the fact that 2 things can really change your life. All right. And always focus on these 2 things. One is the right education system. Very, very important. Learning relevant things is the most important thing. And second is the experience part. I have learned things brilliant, but am I also applying things that I'm learning? Because that is what teaches you a lot. So the application part is again very, very important. And if you can combine the 2, the learning part as well as the application part, I think then you're unstoppable. All right. And for me, what was happening was at time I was getting the learning opportunity. At other time, I was getting the application opportunity, but I did not get both of them together. So it took me more time to reach to where I reached. It took me about 12 years, but I'm happy about the journey so far. All right. So I think my first job that I got at IBM was only possible because I had done a college program after my degree that I did, undergrad that I did. I did 1 year postgraduate, diploma program also. And I think that helped me get into IBM. All right. What I learned at IBM, of course, was great. Which is what helped me, get an opportunity at Nestaway, which is a very, very upcoming startup. And I, and it just changed the way I was looking things and I was doing things. So that is another thing that really helped me. And I combined what I learned at my college, I combined what I learned at IBM, and I combined what I learned at Nestaway and started my own setup. Now, very quickly, I'll tell you about what we do as a company, guys, and then we will move on to I think E-Cell here stands for Entrepreneurship Cell, right? Is my understanding correct? All right. So which
Yes,
also
sir.
means that a lot of you are very interested in doing your own startups. I would love to talk to you guys because we do invest in startups, by the way. So I do invest. I very actively invest in startups. All right. So I would be very, very happy to speak to you. If those of you who are looking at, starting their own companies, I would love to help you. I would love to see, if not me, if there are other people who can, because I also work with investors. So if there are people who would be interested in investing in your company, would be very happy to connect you with them as well. So, so coming back to the thing, I have always been very, very fascinated with 2 things. One is technology and second is business. Okay. Business comes very naturally to me, and technology is something that, of course, I learned over a period of time. And I feel if you're able to combine the 2, that is technology and business, magic happens. Okay. So, and that's exactly what I will try to sort of, walk you through through my presentation, short presentation that I have today. I'll walk you through that particular part. And I hope you're able to learn, and I hope you're able to apply it on your, on whatever thing that you guys are doing. All right. The company that I run is called Inmovidotech. It's and we have 3 product lines under it. So we have Coinsent, we have OneStop, and we have Viscop. So those of you who are extremely interested in business and want to learn a lot of things, please, absolutely, we have so many beautiful projects for you guys. You can come and work with the most amazing companies in the world, not just in India, and apply whatever you're learning at college. You can come and work with them on their life projects and learn on the go. All right. And that's exactly, guys, based on my life experience, I felt that these two things were very, very important. Coming from a tier 2 college and going to the world's best university, one of the world's best university, I still could not go to Harvard. So yeah, that's a separate story. But I at least went to the number 6 university in the world, and I take pride in it. All right. Was all possible because I was very strategic in my thought process that what does it take me to get into a college like this? All right. How do I build my profile? All right. And then doing all of those right things. So I feel that education is a great enabler, is a life changer, I would say, if done and learned the right way. And practical experience is also another thing which really helps someone really grow and progress in life, because practical experience teaches you one thing. When you are working, you will fail a lot of times. And when you fail, you will learn what not to do. So we combined these two and we started this company. So here we offer students an opportunity to come and work on different kinds of technical and non-technical and business projects, live projects with various companies, gain practical experience, gain knowledge in terms of what is required in the industry right now, especially in the tech space, guys, because what we're learning in college is sort of, outdated at times. And what we're doing in the in the real technology space is absolutely different. So we combine the two of them and offer it to the students. So that's what we do as a business. Now let's get back to my presentation part. And what I will do is, since all of you guys are interested in entrepreneurship, and I can tell you one thing, guys, the core of any business, okay, is, of course, there are multiple verticals about it. We talk about sales and marketing, we talk about operations, we talk about finance, we talk about HR, we talk about tech. But one thing which is, and of course, we talk about people who are going to be executing all of these things under various vertical, but the core thing which lies at the heart of it, all right, and which will make or break any a company, all right, would be the right kind of product, all right. I can think, people think of very complex ways and very complex things about building a product. And for me, I feel, if you are able to understand what is the product that your user needs, trust me, you will be able to do great business. And if you're not able to do that, then you will also see your business collapsing, as we saw with the case of BlackBerry, we saw in the case of Nokia, we saw in the case of Orkut, we saw in the case of Google Plus, the chat thing that they had created. All right, so we've seen we have seen it in case of Facebook. So it's not like big companies don't fail, we all fail. We saw Internet Explorer being shut down. I mean, it was one of the big things when Microsoft launched that browser window, but with Google Chrome, who understood its users like nobody's business and kept innovating in the product space, Internet Explorer had to shut down. All right. So, so it doesn't matter with WhatsApp, Facebook chat, Facebook Messenger, Google chat, everything, SMS, everything became obsolete. All right. So you have to always think and understand. And in today's day and age, it's very important to, I would say, embrace and integrate technology with business. That is when you're able to create innovation, and that's when you're able to create solutions which are scalable in nature, which are going to disrupt basically the business ecosystem. All right. So with that, I will start with my presentation. I've tried keeping it as simple as possible. If you could just help enable my sharing request, that would be great. And I'm open to questions also, guys. So I will try winding up my presentation as quickly as possible. But I thought it would be a good idea to give you a brief about why we do what we do, because that gives you a perspective about our entire thing. All right, so I basically, want to, since you're all management students, all right, I don't know how many of you come from a technology background, but even if you don't, I would recommend please start now. It's very important for you to understand technology, whether you are a part of sales, whether you want to major in sales and marketing or operations or anything. It's very, very important for you to understand where is the world going towards. All right. Now, moving on to the next step. I talk about project management. It's incorrect. It's product management. The reason being, I feel that a product management person, anybody who's a part of product management, is someone who is going to be working with the business side, is going to be obviously working with the technology side, and the most important part of the entire ecosystem, the customers, they are going to be working with them as well. All right. Now, what is product management? Let's first try and understand that particular aspect. Now, as you can read it here, product management is nothing. Basically, I have a business vision, I have a business objective, all right, and I want to convert those business objectives, because remember the tech part that we spoke about. I want to convert them into into something which can be built using technology with the help of my engineers. So I basically break down my business vision into something which is technical in nature and can be done by my engineers, or vice versa. I have a great, I mean, WhatsApp, for example, is a hardcore technology product. All right. Now they created a beautiful chat option which just showed people when they were online. How do you convert that into a business use case, so that people will start using that particular solution or that particular platform, and they're able to reach their business objectives? So it could be either of the two. Remember one thing, people who are really good at business will say, I struggle with technology, and people who are really good at technology will say, yeah, technology to main bana dunga, but how do I make a business case out of it is one of the most challenging aspect, and it stays till date. Okay. I work with technical teams all the time. Unko kuch bhi bolo, can we build this? This is how we want to build. This is how I want my backend to be, etc., etc. It can be built. But how do I create a business case out of it that people will want to use my product or pay for my product? That is the most challenging aspect. All right. And that is what management students such as you all are expected to help this team with, and hence the product management. All right. Now, not just that, you also have to understand that as a product management team, because like I said, remember, you'll be talking to business, you will be working with the customer, you'll also be working with the technology team. You also have to understand that what are the limitations of my product. It cannot do everything. Remember that part. All right. And what are the various functionalities of my product? You should be very clear, because remember, sales and marketing team will be in a what should I say? They'll always be pumped up about selling. To jaake kuch bhi bolayenge. All right. So as a product person, your responsibility is to ensure that nothing incorrect is going out to your customer, because a customer, it's not about what you are telling him or her. Customer perceives that particular product to solve his or her problem in a certain way. All right. And that is why it's very important to understand the functionalities part also. Not just that, as a product team, you are continuously working with the marketing team, you're continuously working with the sales team, you're talking to the customer care team. I mean, please, it's not a BPO. Customer care does not mean BPO. It means the operations team who are delivering, who are executing what the sales and marketing team have promised. They are the ones who are actually deploying it, executing it. So the customer communication team, you are continuously working with them on that. Guys, just give me a minute. There are a lot of people at my house. I will just turn my camera off for some time. Yeah, I'll just stop video. I don't want anybody to get distracted. Thank you. Now let's move to the next page, all right, which is what are the roles and responsibilities of a product management person? And you will realize when you look at this person is essentially responsible for the success of that particular product that is being launched. So essentially, a product management director is essentially a mini CEO of that particular product. Okay. Now, if you look at it, you will see that they manage the entire end-to-end thing. Remember, they will be working with the finance team. They will be working with the tech team. They will be working with the operations team, sales and marketing team, HR team. They'll be working with everyone. All right. So they are essentially the mini CEOs who are working on everything with the team. All right. So if you look at it, this is what your role as a product manager, of course, some part of it will trickle down to you. So when you start as a product management executive and then move to manager and then senior manager and then associate director and then director, these are things that you would be working on. Strategic planning. Product managers have to be very, very strategic in nature. You know, you should be able to think not now, but what is going to happen 5 years from now. All right, that's what and of course you have to then break it down into yearly and then monthly goals, right? So strategic planning is something that should be inherent. It should be an inherent part of your character. Second is resource allocation. All right, I have X number of resources, because you'll have to prioritize. Why should I focus on this particular feature over that feature? All right, or why should I launch this particular product and not that other product? 1 minute, guys. Okay, so the resource allocation part, we'll come to it later. The profit loss strategy, that is also something that you have to do. All right, the pricing strategy, what should be the price of my product? It's not about how much it costs you to make that product. All right, I'm sure you guys have studied about perceived value and the actual value or cost of goods sold, etc. I'm sure you've heard about it. But what should be my pricing strategy here is also the part of the responsibility of product manager. All right. Then obviously you have to always do a competitive analysis. That is something that you have to, because remember guys, in business, if there is something which is going to benefit or which is going to help you make money, trust me, there'll be 10 more companies who will want to do the same thing. When WhatsApp started, we also saw Hike coming in. We also saw, Telegram coming in, etc. And we'll see so many more companies who will try to do the same thing. All right. So of course, in China, there was another application, WeChat. All right. So, so you'll always see, whenever there's an opportunity, you'll see 10 more companies trying to do the same thing. But remember, there's only place for 1 or 2 in the ecosystem, and only the best one will win. Like we saw in the case of Facebook, Orchid was already there, but Facebook still decided to start its platform, build its product, launch its product. It was way much better than Orchid in certain ways, functionalities, user experience, the interface, all of that. And we know what happened to Orchid. Google Plus thought, oh, I'm Google, I can also launch. Let me also create. I have everybody here on my platform. They launched it. What happened? None of us ever used Google Plus because we didn't feel the need to use it, right? So, you have to always see, what my competitors are up to, all right? Be able to preempt what their move is all about. And of course, you have to be there. Remember the strategic planning. You have to be there before anybody else is, so that people embrace your product and they don't leave your product and go. All right. So huge responsibility on product people. And of course, they are breaking down those vision into doable tasks for all of these teams. And of course, there's a lot of discussion that obviously technical head will have, sales and marketing head will have. It's not that product will only dictate. I'm not saying that. All of these will come with their inputs, and together the heads will then decide, okay, this is how they'll brainstorm, and then they come up with a proper roadmap and vision for the company, and then they start building it. All right. Now, when we're talking about product management, guys, there are 2 types of, I would say, 2 aspects of product management. One is, of course, the inbound product management task, and second is the outbound management task. Okay. Now, let's look at the product management inbound task. Now, for any product to start, and remember one thing, guys, as a part of the, make research a part of your DNA. All right. 2 things you should always do. One is research about existing and emerging areas. Second, competitive landscape. These are 2 things that you should obsess over. You have to know what is happening, where is the world going towards. Otherwise, pata chalega that you are thinking of today and people have already thought of tomorrow and have already started building it. So you'll be left behind in the race. All right. So make research a part of your activity. I have always done that, because whoever is proactive, all right, will be, I'm not saying you'll be able to predict outcomes or result, but you'll be better prepared to handle the challenges that the business will throw at you if you are being proactive, if you are able to predict that this is what could potentially happen, and then you start preparing for those, failures. As business, we prepare more for failures than for success. Of course, if we succeed, brilliant, but we have to always look at what could be the pitfalls. So, that has to be a part of your nature. And especially those of you who are wanting to be an entrepreneur, I think please, look at this presentation again and start doing it. That is when you will be able to build a product which will make sense for users. Okay. The research part is the most important thing. That's where people make mistake. That's where people think, humko sab pata hai, we know everything, we know this is how it works. And you realize that you are actually just limiting yourself to a couple of people who are going to agree to what you're saying. All right. And then you will think, why is my business not working? Or why is this idea not working? Or leave business, you're working in a marketing team. For example, you'll wonder, why is my marketing campaign not working? All right. So remember, research is the most important aspect. Now let's get back to the point again, which is the inbound product management. All right. You have to continuously research based on data sets, based on surveys, based on analytics, based on anything that, what read white papers do. I mean, you have to do a lot of research. There are multiple ways in which we can do research. All right. And understand, what do my customers want? Certain things will be obviously vocal, but there'll be a lot of unsaid messages that you have to also read and interpret. Okay, that's point number one. Of course, business case analysis is something that you will have to do all the time. All right. How do you position your product? All right. Once you know that, okay, this is how I'm going to be positioning my product. All right. Then you start building the product roadmap. This is where I will start. This is how I will do. And we will, of course, we can do contact more sessions, guys, if you want, because I can't explain everything in one session. But, then you start building the product roadmap. You understand what my market requirements are, and prioritization will be something that you'll have to do on a day in, day out basis, guys. I cannot emphasize enough that learn to prioritize. Take care. In your priority list, you should always have, I always have 3 things in my priority list. I think 3 bhi bahut zyada ho jate hain. Okay, so I have my 3 things. This is priority number 1, this is priority number 2, and this is priority number 3. Same approach, you have to do it here. You cannot have 10 things on your priority list and say, okay, I will do it. No, it doesn't happen. You will have to learn to prioritize, and based on inputs. It's not about what you like, what you don't like. No, it's not about gut feeling also. It always has to be data driven. You should be able to evidence it, and you should be able to back it with information. All right. That prioritization ability you have to learn. And then you have to learn to define that, okay, this is what my product is going to be like. These are my differentiation factors. All right. Competitive advantage. Why will people use your product? Yeah. Remember one thing, if there is a problem, there will always be a solution. It can never be that there's no solution for it. All right. You have to think that, why will people use my product over something else which is already existing? And I will explain it to you with the help of WhatsApp ka example. Okay. And what will make my product desirable, guys? Okay. That's another thing that you have to look at. Now, what are the kind of features that we're going to be building? How much would it cost me? What will it take me to stay on schedule? What if there's another thing that comes up? I mean, what will be the trade-off if I launch? Because remember, the resources are limited. All right, be it money, be it people, all right, or be it opportunity. Everything is limited. It cannot be that I will take 10 years to build this product unless you're building something like IBM Watson. That's a different story. But if you're looking at, in today's fast growing world, if you're looking at building something which is going to take 10 years, I don't know if you will be able to survive that kind of time, especially if you're a growing startup. All right. So you have to always think about these things, that, okay, how do I stay on time, and what is the trade-off? If I launch this feature over this other feature, which we were thinking is important, what is the trade-off? Will it give me more business? Will it give me more users? Will it give me more visibility? What will it give me? All right. And then once you have all of that clarity, and this is very limited set, number of things, guys, there are much more things and many more things, then you start building the product requirements with respect to your engineers, because they are the ones who will ultimately start building it, and also in terms of user experience. So user experience is not just your mobile app or your web app or anything, or a platform, but it is also about how it gets delivered. At what stage will the operations team take over? At what stage will my tech support team take over? At what stage, the entire user experience part is what is constituted as a part of the product requirement. And remember, I told you about the competitive analysis. We'll have a separate session on how do you do competitive analysis, because if I ask you, most of you will say SWOT. Please, guys, SWOT is a very small part of competitive analysis. There's a very proper structured way to do competitive analysis, and I'll be happy to do a workshop on that also. All right. So when we talk about the competitive analysis, in terms of product, what is my product all about, and what is the market position, market requirement, all of that also is a part of your competitive analysis. And once you have done that, then of course we launch the beta version of our projects or of our product, and we test it. Okay, so this is before you start building the product. So we need to do much more work than what I have mentioned here. And each of this is a very detailed process in itself. If I look at this customer, so this is a separate session in itself. All right. Now let's move to the product marketing. Once you have determined that, okay, this is the product that I want to build, everything is done, and you have now started building the product. Okay. You cannot wait for the product to be built and then I will do the launch and marketing plans. No, guys, it doesn't work like that in today's day and age. The launch and marketing plan starts the minute you have identified that this is my product. I think people will like it. I want to test how many people will want it. So what do? You do a beta launch plan, or you do a launch plan. Now, for companies like we saw in the case of XUV 700, as you would have seen, the minute they opened up the booking, there was so much of hype that was built. There was so much of marketing that was being done around XUV 700 that the day when it was launched, all right, for people to what do you say, register, fill in the registration form for booking the vehicle, the waiting list is for 2 years now. All right. Now, what has happened is that Mahindra already has, I would say, requirements for X number of units, irrespective of the fact whether they have those many units in their plant or not. They already have a demand for it. All right. So if you decide to launch and build the right kind of marketing plan, that's what happens to your product. Or even for that 271 wala phone, where they said, I will give you a phone for 271, and they did a pre-launch offer, and I don't know, crores worth phones were bought and they of course could not deliver. That's a different story. But a lot of times people do this kind of launch and marketing plan. You have to very clearly explain what are the features and benefits, because that is what will make people excited and will want to look at your product. And of course, you have to use the right kind of marketing tools. You have to, cascade messages through various platforms to ensure that you reach out to every single user who could be for that potential product of yours or whatever you have built. They know about it, so that has to be done. Training has to be done for all the team members so that they're aware of what they need to say and not say. The sales tools that you will be using here, that has to be there. The product launch part, we spoke about the launch and marketing plan. Now that has to be executed as a part of the launch. So automobile, events hote, expos hote, there they will launch the product. Or maybe if there's, if it's a tech product, then there are tech forums. So there are various forums where you do the soft launch of your product to tell people, hey, we have arrived, this is the product we have, so on and so forth. All right, I'm sorry. And then, of course, the entire marketing has to happen. You have to, of course, discuss about success stories, because nothing beats and nothing builds more trust than when people talk about it. People talk about it. That's when you say, okay, my friend has bought this. He or she is happy with this particular product, so I don't mind trying it. All right. So that also has to be done. You have to continuously do market analysis. So, as marketing people will say, okay, we'll do this billboard and X number of people will see it and blah, blah, blah. How do you know that how many sales have increased? So at that particular junction, because, now the brilliant part about technology is you can track everything. You'll know the IP address. You will know where that person is. You'll know everything. So, so can you check that whether your marketing campaigns are working, not working, etc. UTM sources, there are multiple things that you can do here to check whether it is working fine. And if you are launching the product, I'm sure Tata will also want to launch. I'm sure, Ford has now shut down. Toyota will want to launch. So everybody will want to launch, looking at your success story. So, what is the market telling you? That kind of analysis also has to be done. And last but not the least, the competitive analysis. I mean, it is something that we have to live with, whether you like it, you don't like it, both in terms of price, in terms of promotion, and in terms of place. This is what you will do it as a part of outbound, and as a part of inbound. You see here, product features and market position is what we will do. All right. So I've mentioned it here. You can look at it here, both inbound and outbound product management. Majorly, it's about market research. What are the industry trends? You'll do a competitive analysis and then build the overall strategy and roadmap as a part of your inbound product management. And as a part of your outbound product management, you're focusing majorly on the product marketing, the brand part, the messaging part, the positioning part, product launch, PR, advertisement, everything that is now related to marketing, etc., and building that kind of hype and brand, etc., is a part of the outbound. And of course, last but not the least would be the technology and the execution part also. All right. Now, if you're a product manager, this is how your schedule will be like. All right. Remember, guys, as a product person, if you want to be a product manager, you should understand technology. You should be able to do wireframing. You should be able to build prototypes using wireframes. You should know all of these things. All right. So, but majority of your time will be spent on communicating, because you'll be more of a negotiator. You'll be more of a coordinator, moderator. You'll basically be driving the product to being built and successfully executed. All right. That is what you would be doing. A lot of times sales and marketing team bolenge, aapne to humko bola tha this feature will be ready, but this is not yet ready. The tech team is taking so long, blah, blah, blah. And how are we supposed to do? Of course, the sales team will, if they are going to fail, they are going to be pushing that blame on somebody. Maybe the operations team, because they were not able to deliver, or maybe the engineering team, because they were not able to deliver. So all of them will always find reasons for people trying to blame others, because nobody honestly likes to take a blame. Who wants to get a shouting? Nobody. Very few people will accept, oh, I goofed up. Most of the people will want to pass on that blame. So as a product manager, you should be able to see all of that. Okay. You should know कि engineer मुझे बोलेगा कि हाँ, I will be able to build this particular thing in 2 days time. But if you understand technology, you will know कि इसको 2 दिन नहीं लगेगा. This is going to take 1 week. Okay. So you will now add in 10 days here, because you know that there'll be bugs, there'll be issues, there'll be multiple things. Koi chutti pe chale gaya, somebody falls sick. You'll factor in all of those things and then say, okay, 10 days I need this. But doesn't mean on 10th day you will go and ask. You'll ask every day, how are you doing? What is the progress, etc. So you need to have all of those things also to be able to, I would say negotiate. That is one key skill that you need to have. 20% of your time will be spent on engineering, because ultimately we're talking about tech products here. There'll be scrum meetings that you have to run. And of course, you need to have technical competency, like I said. Design element, you'll have to work with because it's all about the user experience. Ultimately, nobody cares what goes into building the solution. Everybody cares about how it looks on the exterior. I want to feel great about looking at this particular product. So of course, you need to have a basic understanding of UI UX. And like I said, without wireframing, you can't be a product manager. You have to know how to build wireframes. And nowadays, there are so many tools that you can learn it from. We'll be happy to conduct a session for that also. All right. And of course, the business acumen, very, very important, comes with experience. Reading books is not going to teach you things, guys. Researching is not going to teach you things. Of course, you will learn something, but where you will learn all of these things is by executing it. All right. Remember that part, application. All right. So the business acumen, you need to have it. All right. You should know how digital marketing platform works. What is your go-to-market strategy? What date? Why am I doing this? Why am I using this platform? Why am I not using that platform? You need to know everything, and you will know that if you have done your research properly, if you know who your users are, if you know where they are, if you know what device they use, if you know what time of the day they use it, you will be able to build the right kind of go-to-market strategy. All right. Everything, every single step counts and makes a difference. And when you have the right information, that is when you can do the right things. All right. Aimlessly कुछ भी करने से ना कि चलो आज हम hoarding लगा देते, आज हम we'll distribute brochure, now we'll run Facebook ads, and now we'll run Instagram. No, nothing gets you anywhere. Random things will get you random result. If you want specific outcomes, you have to be very clear about each and everything and then build the solution. All right. There are various kind of tools that you should be familiar with. All right. Analytics, of course, you should be very, very familiar with it. We have Google Analytics. You should be able to read it. You should be able to understand it. You should be able to derive business insights from it. All right. You should be comfortable using it. Of course, there are prototyping tools where we can build prototypes, wireframes, like I said spoke about it. There are multiple survey tools. SurveyMonkey is one of the good tools. You should be comfortable doing surveys, and you should be able to do qualitative and quantitative, both kind of surveys or market research. So there are various tools in which you can use to derive insights. All right. Then of course the roadmap part, where you have to build. I mean, I like using Gantt chart. I think it's pretty helpful. So you should be comfortable using roadmaps, and then of course you should have a lot of tools for communicating with various team members, ensuring that data privacy is of utmost what should I say, importance, because your strategies cannot be leaked. As a business, you have to safeguard your strategies with everything that you have in the world. All right. So when you're talking about response tool, when you're talking about communication tool, what are the various kind of tools that are available? And of course, the companies would also know about it, and you can then use those tools or platforms to basically communicate. So Slack is used extensively, WhatsApp is used extensively. The multiple tools, Asana is there. So Notion is there. So there are a lot of tools that you can use, but of course the company will determine what tool or which tools they want to use. All right. And then of course there is a task management tool, wherein you can see the tasks that are being, it could be informed. There could be multiple ways. For example, we use Google Sheets as one of the task management tool. It works for us. Now, of course, we've built our own systems where we are able to evaluate everybody's task, what they're doing, when they're doing, all of that we're able to see. So of course, we initially were using Google Sheets, and once we understood what we need, we asked our tech team to build it, and now we have our own task management tool also. All right. And then of course your data is very, very important. What data management tools are you going to be using is also something that you will have to be comfortable using. So these are various kind of product management tools that you will essentially be engaging with. All right. Now let's talk about the most important thing, guys, here. Before we start building any kind of product, and please tell me if I'm on time. Guys, we'll do a quick time check also, because we started at 6:45. All right. So I will have to finish it by 7:30. It has to get over, right? Okay. I'll try finishing it as soon as possible. So maybe, is it okay if we stretch it by another 10 minutes?
Yes, ma'am. It's fine.
It is fine, right? So
Yes,
I just
ma'am.
wanted to know. All right. So now let's move to. I'll just leave you with thoughts, guys. Because it's not possible for me to teach everything in 1 hour. It's absolutely not possible, as you'd be realizing. But let me just try and explain. When we start, all right, with the product, we start with the vision goal. Why am I creating this particular product? It could be a simple thing as a feature also, guys. Okay. Very simple feature, and I'll tell you, I wish I had more time because so that I could share my experiences with you. But what is the purpose for creating this product? Why do I need to create this product? All right. If I don't create the product, and it has to be backed by data. It has to be backed by analytics. It has to be backed by customer reviews. It has to have data as to why I want to do it. It cannot be because I wish and I feel like doing it. No, you cannot be doing it for that reason. Second thing is that if I build this particular feature or this particular product or this particular new thing, whatever, all right, what is the impact that this will bring? Because remember, guys, for every problem, there is already a solution that exists. So how will your solution bring about that impact that you're hoping to see? All right. Now, once you're clear and spent a lot of time into building this, guys. Okay. Now, once you have done that, guys, what you have to do is you have to identify who my target audience is, which is what I put it as target group. What is my market segment? That's point number one. Okay, so the market could be huge. It could be all people, all working people staying in metropolitan cities in India. I'm just saying. Okay, so the target segment, market segment, we created it. Now, all working professionals cannot be your customers. All right, so who would be my customer in that particular market segment? So I said working professionals working in metropolitan cities. Great. Now there are about, almost about 10 million people who are working out of various metropolitan cities, or even more, maybe for that matter. More than 2 crore people are working out of these metropolitan cities. So is everybody your target customer? Maybe no. So we get more specific. People who are earning salary. I'm just saying, let's take case in point for XUV 700. So people who are who can afford to pay an EMI, मान लो वो 80% loan ले लेते हैं कार के लिए. So people who are able to afford paying loan of say 30,000 rupees a month, EMI of 30,000 rupees a month. I'm just saying, or maybe 40,000. I don't know how much it costs. Okay? So for discussion's sake, we'll put it as 30,000. Now, who will be able to pay 30,000 rupees ka EMI? Somebody who's earning about a lakh and a half, because that should be take home. Right? You also have to ensure, you'll also be paying house rent, khane pine ka kharcha sab kara karo ke, you'll still need 30,000 to spend, as savings, etc. So this person should have 30,000 spare money to be able to spend on this car. Okay. So now you have made your target customer, and then you come to the target user. Okay, somebody who is probably who has a big family, somebody who is married, has 2 kids, loves to travel, etc., etc. So you get more and more and more and more specific, and then you identify that, okay, this is my target user. Okay, now you have identified that part. That's what the research part is. Let's move to the need part. Okay, see guys, there's a very thin line between a need and a want. ठीक है? Now need तो हमारी तीन ही है, रोटी कपड़ा मकान. ठीक है? अच्छा, कपड़ा is my need, for example. मेरा काम तो I can also do it with 3 pairs of clothes. But why do I want 10 pairs of clothes? Why do I need 10 pairs of jeans? That becomes a want. Why do I want a Levi's jeans? That is not a need. The need is to have a pair of jeans. It can be anything. It can be 200 rupees ka jeans also, for all you care. But why do I want to spend 2,000? So, you know, the want has to be converted into need. You know, remember that part. It's unfortunate, but that's how consumerism is. All right. So what problem does it solve? Why should I buy an XUV 700? What is the problem that it is solving for my user? I'm sure they already have a car. So what is it that their car cannot provide that this XUV 700 will provide? All right. Maybe, you know, people who want to buy an XUV 700 were aspiring to probably buy a BMW or a Mercedes, but probably they cannot afford to spend so much money, or they don't want to spend so much money. Can I get those functionalities and features in this particular car? And guys, by the way, it has, XUV 700 does have all the features of the best cars at a very affordable price. That's the benefit it is providing. So safety, airbags, I mean, you know, very evolved analytics that it is giving you, driving experience, blah, blah, blah. All of those features are there, for which I probably would have had to spend maybe 60, 70 lakh. I'm getting that for 20 lakh. All right. So, you know, so that's how you justify the benefit about this particular car. Now you come to the product part. What is this product? So it is a car. Great. What is the differentiating factor? Because if I'm talking about SUV, then ab SUV segment mein to compete with this particular you know, SUV, how many more SUVs are there that can compete at this particular price range? Okay, because Innova Krista is a MUV. It is not an SUV, or it's not a sports utility vehicle. Okay. Then I have Hexa, then I have other cars. So are they able to compete with this particular product in terms of features, in terms of functionality, in terms of delivery, in terms of brand, in terms of loyalty, etc., XYZ? If no, that becomes your differentiating factor, because that is why people will come and buy your product, right? Because if I'm looking at spending 20, 30 lakh rupees on a car, I'm going to go check other cars also. Why should I buy this car over that car? What is it that this is offering me that others are not offering? So that becomes your differentiating factor. Now आता है building part. अब हमने बोल तो दिया कि जैसे नानू के केस में हो that we will build a car in under 1 lakh and blah blah, all of that stuff. What happened? 1 lakh में तो बहुत ही basic car मिल रहा था. So was it even possible to build that kind of product which would give everything? And what kind of competency did it bring to the table? So we saw, I mean, I want you to go read up about Nano. I'm not going to tell you everything. So you also have to see that I have committed to my customers that I will give it to you in this particular price range or by this particular date. But is it even possible to build a product of that kind? Like we saw, because of COVID, microchips are in shortage. Most of the car manufacturers are not able to deliver because of that particular thing. You know, a lot of products, raw materials and other finished material come from other countries like China, etc. Now, because of COVID, you know, import export has stopped. No more due. So, you know, so you have to factor in everything and then commit to your client, because the client is not going to wait. If he says, I want a car, he's not going to say, oh, you know what, let me wait for 3 years and then I will get a car. Nobody has that kind of patience. They'll go buy something else. All right. So what kind of competency do you bring? And does your team have that competency to deliver? Very important. You have to look at that part also. And then, of course, defining business goals, because your company ultimately has to benefit. I can have fanciful, wishful thinking, but ultimately, a company is built to achieve business goals, which is about making money. So am I, as a company, able to make money with this wishful, fanciful thinking? If yes, how? Show me the numbers, show me how many people are wanting it, so on and so forth. And if yes, and if the company benefits because of it, of course, the company will say, let's go ahead and build this product. And I can tell you that, I can tell you that this is a continuous process. Yani ki aapne bana diya and then you say, okay, fine, ab to ban gaya, I don't have to do anything. You will have to continuously upgrade, update, add features, functionalities, etc. Because if you don't do it, you saw what happened to Nokia. It was the market leader When mobile phones were launched, the only phone that we owned was Nokia. I'm sure you guys were kids back then. Probably some of you were not even born. I'm talking about 2000 when the mobile phone started coming in India. It was a big deal to buy a Nokia phone. All right. Today, does anyone of you have a Nokia phone? I mean, it was a big deal for me to have a BlackBerry phone. I mean, it was a dream, to buy a BlackBerry phone. Today, BlackBerry decided to shut down its operations. That is what happens, guys. So, you have to always do these activities on a continuous basis. All right. And last topic that I will cover now, is already 7:30. Okay. The last topic that I will cover now is the customer persona. Okay. And for all of this, you're of course doing the research part also, and maybe we'll have another session if required. But let's come to the customer persona, because ultimately, who am I making this particular product for? For my customer, for my user. Okay. So you have to understand that what is the challenge that your current user is facing that your product can solve. Okay. If there is no challenge that your user is facing and you still decide to create a product hoping there'll be a challenge, it doesn't work, guys. It's like setting up yourself for failure. All right. So identify, talk to your user, different kind of users. Okay. To understand that what is the challenge that they're facing and what is the solution that they are currently using and what is the solution that they're looking for. Okay. You have to ask these 3 questions. Next is your consumer and customer. Both of these are used quite interchangeably, but they are different. They could be the same thing, but they are different. Consumer is the one, as the name suggests, will be the person who will be using it, and customer, as the name suggests, will be the one who will be paying for it. A lot of times it could be the same person, and sometimes it could be a different person also, different people also. All right. And your entire product features, functionalities, brand, marketing plan, etc., will be based on this particular aspect, which is customer and consumer. Okay. Then you also have to understand what kind of background do they come from. And in today's day and age, where most of us are now slightly tech savvy, if not completely, a lot of us are tech savvy. A lot of us are from different kind of backgrounds. We could be a farmer, I could be a shopkeeper, I could be a mason, I could be anybody. All right. So it is very important to understand that which industry are they coming from, as in, are they working? And if yes, which field are they from? Because that will determine that what kind of solutions or challenges they might be facing, and hence what kind of solutions they might be looking for. All right. Also very important, guys, is to understand that what is the motivation for my user to come and use this product. And it would be brilliant if you can also make them pay for your product. All right. Because like I said, there'll always be so many other players. Like there is Levi's Jeans, there was Pepe, there was Wrangler, there was Lee Cooper, there was Lee. I don't know. So many brands were there. All right. So what will make somebody come and buy my pair of jeans over others? All right. So that is also, you have to understand that what will be the motivation for the user to buy my stuff over other things that are already available, like sneakers, shoes, whatever. I mean, we see that happening all the time. All right. And what could be if I am looking at launching my product, then what could be that factor that would prohibit the user from using my product? Okay. Could it be the price? Could it be it is very complex to use? Could it be that I need more efforts to use it, etc.? So you have to understand those challenges also for doing this, the buying concern or the using concern. All right. And what does your user want to accomplish with this particular product? Why should they use their product? I mean, what is it that they are going to achieve by using this particular product? And for this, case in point, let me just start with a very simple example called WhatsApp. All right. We all use WhatsApp. All right. Now, why was WhatsApp created? WhatsApp was created by a bunch of 2 friends, techies, who essentially wanted to, communicate with their friends, etc., when they were available. But they did not really have a tool which allowed them to do so. Okay, so they said, Acha, what if we create a tool? If they install it, the minute they switch it on, I can see them online and I can connect with them. That was the core intent. Mere friends gym pe, I can go connect with them and we can probably hit the gym together, or we can probably go out clubbing together, so on and so forth. That was the reason why WhatsApp was created. So the challenge was that I do not know if my friend is available or not available at this point in time. And hence, I wanted to create an application which could do that. Now, this is what the user was facing as a problem. Okay. Now, customer and consumer. So, of course, they initially started with saying that, okay, first year it will be free, and after that you have to pay $1. And honestly, aaj agar wo bolenge sabko pay $1, all of us will very happily pay $1 for using WhatsApp. Trust me on that part. Okay. Now, who will be using it? So all my friends who I'm connected with and connected to will be happy to use it. Okay. Will they be willing to pay for it? Today, yes. Back then, maybe yes, they would be willing to pay for it. 40 rupees was not such a big amount of money. All right. What is the motivation for the user to buy your product amongst other products that were available in the market? Yeah, that's a good question. All right. Why will people want an application to see? So they said, okay, not only can I see that if you're online or offline, I can also send you a ping, a message. Okay. Messaging was not something new when they came up with in terms of WhatsApp way back in, I think, 2007, 2008, when they launched this particular product. It was not something unique. What were the other products that were already available? SMS. But remember, SMS used to cost you money. You could only send 200 messages in a day. After that, you could not send messages. Smartphones were not that smart. If you wanted to send messages using internet, you had two options. One is Google Hangout, second is Facebook Messenger. But remember, your smartphones did not have that kind of processing speed. Plus, they were web app, they were not mobile app. All right. And if I would install a Facebook whatever thing on my phone and Google Hangout on my phone would crash. I'm saying this with experience. Okay. So, kya rahega? Second thing, my other friend also has to be on Google Hangout and Facebook. What if they're not on that particular application? Then I can't chat with them over internet. I can only send 200 messages in a day, SMS in a day. That too has a limit of, 30, 40 characters, something like that, 80 characters. Okay. So is there any other feature, any other product? Now with WhatsApp, what was the benefit? As long as I have internet on my phone, which most of us had, and I have a phone number, I can start communicating and chatting with my friend without bothering about the number of messages. Plus, this application was absolutely light, very, very light. The interface was absolutely like SMS platform. There was nothing different. It was absolutely similar. So I didn't, as a user, I didn't really have to change anything. I could use that same QWERTY keypad. We didn't have touchpads then. QWERTY keypad, and I could start chatting with my friends. Okay, so it was that simple to use. So I told you about product benefits. Now, are they working? At that point in time, of course, most of us were working. My parents didn't have a smartphone back then. They had normal Nokia phones. All right. So most of us were working. So it was a great way to communicate. We could not send photos, nothing. We could only send messages, but we could send more than 200 messages. We knew our messages were secure. We knew that nobody could read our messages. They were encrypted. So we were very happy. So back then, of course, it was kids and working professional, jo bhi unko bhejna hai, they would use that particular platform. All right. What could be the main challenge for user to buy your product? Was it requiring more effort? No. Was it costing you a lot of money? No. That's why they saw a huge user adaptability. All right. And what was it that as a user I was trying to accomplish? Two things. I wanted to see if my friend is online, and if yes, then I could chat with my friend without bothering about the number of messages that I was sending or sharing. All right. So, so in a very, very simple way, I have explained it to you. So guys, I also had the opportunity of meeting the VP of engineering, who happens to be my brother's classmate at, at San Francisco, California. All right. So he was a part of the team when WhatsApp was bought by Facebook. He also moved to the Facebook team. And you'll not believe, I was chatting with him. I think this was in 2015. And, we were speaking. And I said, you guys have added the voice calling feature. I mean, we can now call people using WhatsApp and it's so convenient, etc. Why don't you also add the video calling feature? And then he asked me, because he was, of course, not aware of what things were happening in India. I mean, he probably had not been in India since 2000. So he was just trying to understand and talk to me. And we spoke a lot. And then he said, okay, this is a great idea and we should look at adding and incorporating this feature. Of course, I'm sure they had their data. It's not what I told him because of that. But, we had, he was a core product person. So the kind of questions that he was asking me, the kind of insights that he was trying to get, the kind of information that he was trying to get about, why a video calling feature has to be enabled in WhatsApp. The kind of questions that he asked me, I was like, oh, it's so easy. Why does he not just deploy it? I mean, he's got so many engineers, they've got so much of money. but why do they not deploy it? I saw that, because you cannot just do things because two people are saying. You will do it because millions of people are saying the same thing. And when the right time came, they deployed the video calling feature. They deployed multiple call feature. They deployed multiple video calling feature. All right. So, as product person, you have to be always trying to understand what your users are wanting, what they are saying, etc. That is when you can hope that your product will be successful. Okay, so with that, I come to the end of my session. Datin, I also wanted to share a form, if that's okay with you. I will share it with you.
Yes,
You
ma'am.
can share it with the team.
So,
Sure, ma'am. Sure, ma'am.
hello, ma'am.
Yes, hi.
Nisarg here.
Hi.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening.
Hi, good evening. Yes, tell me, please.
Yes,
Hello.
sir, you're not audible. I guess there's some connectivity issue from you.
Thank you so much for this. Just a second.
You're welcome. Yeah, please tell me.
Am I audible now, ma'am?
Yes, you are, Nisarg.
Yes, ma'am. I talked to Anirudh sir about regarding the form. So we will share the information later, ma'am.
Achha, no worries. So just share the form, because I also wanted to let you all know that we have a lot of interesting live projects, all right, that we have with us right now. And those of you who are looking at doing any kind of live project in the product launch and product management space, you can fill up that form, and we'd be happy to connect you with the company, and you can work on those projects.
Actually, ma'am, we are sharing a QR code
Okay.
where all the details are there. And through that, we will share the information, ma'am.
Achha, theek hai. You do it however, I have no problems, but I thought I'll just let you know.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Yes. Are there any questions that students may have for me?
Yes, ma'am. We'll open the portal. So moving further, yeah.
Actually, ma'am, I have a question.
Sure.
Like, suppose I want to enter in the cybersecurity business actually in the future, but currently what I want to do doesn't exist right now. So convincing others to enter in that field is much more riskier. So how about go about those things? Like currently, I want to do mostly work on the encryption part. Like currently, 256-bit and 168 and 192-bit are the standard.
Right.
But once as quantum computers became normal in, I think so, next decade, these things will be absolute or of no use. So to work on the next era of cyber security, how do I convince
How do you
people,
start?
or how do I start here? That's the basic.
Sure. And when you say convince people, who would you mean by convincing? People who will.
Mostly engineers and investment.
Achha, so for people to come and join your team, that's point number one. And point number
Yes.
two, once you have a team, then convincing investors to give you money so that you can start building the product. Do I get it right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, that's a good question. And your name is Sudhanshu, right?
Sudhanshu, yes.
Sure. So Sudhanshu, that's a good question. See, I mean, typically, if you remember the first thing that I started with, the consumer slide that I showed you, that's where you start, Sudhanshu. All right. Are you also following Web 3.2?
Yes, ma'am.
You're following
Yes,
that.
ma'am.
And this is going
Yes.
to align with Web 3.2. Is my understanding
Yes, ma'am.
correct?
Yes, ma'am.
All right.
Actually, it's to the concept of more Web.4. It's more futuristic, related to like recent. Till now, we are following in the binary computing.
Hmm.
As quantum computing comes, all these things will be of no use. So it's more kind of Web 4.2 actually.
And when do you anticipate Web 4.0? See, I see your project as more research oriented project than as a business project. All right, Sudhanshu, that's point number one. See, investors would always be willing to invest money in a good, tech product. There are two things that they will look at. One is, of course, how competent the team is who's going to be building this particular solution. And you as a CEO or as a founder will need to have demonstrate that competency that you will be able to execute it. That's point number one. And point number two, the market viability part. Because as an investor, what am I looking at here? If I am putting money in this, can I expect to get a 5x return out of it in a short span of time? If not, I'm not putting my money on the table. Plain and simple, because it's all business, it's all transactional. All right. Of course, we go with this risk also that either I will make a lot of money or I'll make zero money. All right? So coming back to your point, two things that you have to do, Sudhanshu. One is, of course, I would say identify who your users would be. Would it be businesses who will need this particular solution, or would it be individual users who will need this solution, like normal users? And if yes, how will they get access to this? On how would this be built? How will people implement this as a part of their, a part of their online engagement that they do? You will have to build all of that part. All right. So once you're clear about it, Sudhanshu, second comes your building your team part. Okay. It is one of the most difficult.
One thing, ma'am. It's I'm trying to build or work something like a standard, like there is a standard for encryption now, 128-bit, 256-bit, or 192-bit. I'm trying to form a next form of standard that will be possible in the era of quantum computers.
But what makes you think that engineers would already not be doing it? Because if you know that it is going to be obsolete, this kind of encryption, then of course they also know about it, Sudhanshu.
Ma'am, the companies like Google and mostly IBM are working on it.
Yes. So they'll be working on it, right? Facebook would also be working on it. So you and I, whatever platforms that we are using.
Ma'am, Facebook is more quite focused on the metaverse, I think so.
It will be focused on metaverse, but data encryption will obviously be of prime concern for them, na?
Yes, ma'am.
Remember that part also, because they have been challenged a lot of times on that only, right? So I'm sure they will also want to do that. And with WhatsApp being a part of their particular solution, see, I'm not questioning it. I'm not questioning what you're trying to do, Sudhanshu. What I'm asking you these tough questions because these are questions that your investor will also ask you. All right. And if you're building this as a application, standalone application, which a Google can use, which a Facebook can use, okay, leave Google and Facebook, they already have engineers to do it, but which a normal business can also use, you have to identify as to who your customer will be, and how will they use it, and how will you build this particular system to work on their application. That's point number one. Point number two, once you're clear about your you're clear about your market segment, etc. That is when you start talking to the engineers. What kind of engineers do you need? Why will they want to work with you? Of course, we'll teach you how do you convince them. Also, I work with engineers all the time. How do you get them to be a part of your team? And once you start building a basic prototype and start testing it with your users, if you can, then you can of course reach out to investors and start raising investment. And by the way, if you have something which is patented, if you have something which is your core IP, then investors are willing to come at product building stage also. All right. So it depends on, like I said, two things, Sudhanshu. One is you. That's point number one. Point number two, how important is your product, and for who is it important, and how will you take it to those people? Okay. So if you have this clarity, of course, you will be able to get the team, and you will, of course, be able to get the investors also. Yeah, so I can take this offline with you because I'm sure there are other people who want to ask questions, but I'm happy to take this offline with you.
Okay.
And can help you structure it. Okay.
So yeah, those of you who have any question, please raise your hand and we'll speak out your names one by one. Yes, Nandini.
Hello, ma'am.
Hi, Nandini.
Ma'am, actually, I had a question like, how do we identify whether it's a well-designed product or not?
Okay, with reference to what, Nandini? When you say, are you talking about it as a user, or are you talking about it as a product person?
Ma'am, as a product person.
As a product person. All right. Couple of things, Nandini. I mean, first of all, there's never a perfect product. All right. Remember that part. As I mean, if I were to identify whether this product is something that I can launch in the market, couple of things that I look at, Nandini. One is that is this a minimum viable plan that I had thought of, that I want to launch in the market? Uh, does this do the work that it is supposed to do? Maybe not in the best way. It is possible it may not have the greatest UI UX part, but does it deliver what it's supposed to deliver? That is the first thing that I look at, Nandini. All right. Second thing, of course, I do a soft launch. I launch the product, irrespective of what and how it is. I still go ahead and launch it. And I allow my users to use that particular product, come back to me with feedback so that I can work with my engineers or execution team or whoever, whichever team is responsible for it. I can work with them, improve on the product and launch the next variant. All right. So whether the product is, good for launch or not, I will of course do a closed group testing. I will invite a few people who I think could be my potential customers, maybe people who I had interviewed, who I had surveyed, etc. I'll invite those people. I'll ask them to, test the product, try the product, give me feedback. And once they give me those feedback, I will rework on it, fix those bugs, issues if there are any, and then launch it in a big way, Nandini. So this is how you can test where your product is okay or not okay.
So, ma'am, in this case, if the ones you are calling from, according to them, the product is good, but according to the customer's point of view, the product is not good. So, in that case, how you decide, like whether you should go with your person's review or the customer's with review?
No, so I will, when I say they're never my person, Nandini, I will never interview people who are my friends. I wouldn't do that. All right. I will definitely try and talk to people who I think could be my potential customers. Those are the people that I talk to and that, my team will talk to. That's point number one. Of course, you have to do a lot of testing. And then trust me, your product will still fail. And if your customers are not liking it, you have to, I typically would call up my customers to try and understand that what is it that they don't like about the product. I don't take it personally, but rather I look at it more from a product person point of view so that I can understand the challenges that they're facing. And then I obviously discuss with my teams to confirm it to them by when these issues can be fixed. And then once those issues are fixed, of course, I reach back to my customers again and I tell them it has been fixed. Can you please check it now and let me know? So you're absolutely right. Especially if people are paying you, all right? They can get very angry and upset if you don't deliver what you're committing for. So this is how we do it, Nandini, and it works. It works.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome, Nandini.
Okay, before moving on to the next question, I would like to request you all that at the end of this session, you will need to fill out an attendance form for the e-certificates. So kindly stay back. Yeah. So moving on, Saket.
Can you hear me?
Yes, you are audible.
Yeah, okay. So, ma'am, my question is a little bit career oriented.
Sure.
Like, if a person starts his career from sales and marketing, and he wants to get into product management, so how much challenging is it?
That's a good question, Saket. I'll tell you a couple of things, Saket. For you to be a product manager, all right, two things are, one good thing that you already have is the sales and marketing background, which means that you already understand, I don't know if you have been a part of the inbound product management or the outbound part, depending on that, you would understand that particular aspect very well. So that's one great thing in your favor. So you understand the business aspect of the product, all right? The aspect that is that you'll need to work on, like I said, you will definitely need to understand technology. Even if you're not able to code, that is fine, but you need to be able to understand technology, how this particular technology works. That is something that you have to understand. And of course, you should have the ability of converting those particular objectives into technical problem statements also, all right, and work with the technical team, guide them, etc. And what do you say, be able to derive meaningful outputs that we're looking for. So how challenging it is will depend on you, Saket. It totally depends on you. If you are able to learn about technology quickly, all right, and if you're able to see, because you should know data analytics, that is very important for you to be a product manager, because you'll be working with data all the time. All right. So analytics is something that you should know. You should know how to do the research part. You should understand about technology. Wireframing is something that you should know aram se, and that these are things that you can learn over a period of time. Say 6 months ka apna target set kar diya that I want to learn. Wireframing you can learn in like 2 weeks time. The basic wireframing. I'm not expecting you to become a phenomenal UI UX designer, no, but you can be a decent. You can be decent at building and converting whatever the business is telling you quickly into wireframe and showing it to them and showing it to tech team and telling them this is how I want the backend etc. to be. And this is and I want this feature, this is and I want this functionality. So you should be able to do all of that. And after that, I don't think it should be very difficult for you to move into product manager's role. In fact, I've seen a lot of business people who understand about technology move into product management roles also. And you can actually, whichever company that you're working in, okay, this is a good way to start, Saket, that in that company only you can say that, hi, can I please shadow, can I please shadow the work that the product team, you can identify one person who's a part of the product team, and you can request the company that you want to shadow this individual or this person. All right, they will typically allow you. Nobody says no to it. Okay, and then you can speak to this person and understand that what kind of tech stack are they using, so that you can start reading up about it. But now, how much will you read? Every company will have a different requirement. So you can start shadowing this person, start learning about that tech stack. A lot of times they will only help you. All right. And once you're ready, then you can say that, can I do a stretch assignment and gradually migrate into the product team. Because ekdam se na, nobody will allow you unless you have a background in it. They will not allow you to move to the product team. So most of the people, this is what they do. They start the shadowing part, then they take a stretch assignment. Basically, it means that you will do your core work and you will also do this part as a part of the project, assignment that you're doing for this company without any additional pay. And once you're ready, then of course you can ask your manager that I will want to move into the product management team completely. And then you should be able to pursue that as a career. And all of these transitions are absolutely possible within a 1 year time. But please ensure for all of you guys here, one thing that I want to tell you all, if you want to change a job role internally, ensure that your core work never suffers, guys. Okay, that work has to be phenomenal. That is when people will respect you. Otherwise, pata chala, you're not doing your own work properly and you think I want to do something else, nobody is going to believe in you and they're not going to give you that opportunity. So Saket, I hope I answered your question. Start with shadowing, apply for in a company.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Start with the shadowing with that person. Ensure your work never suffers. If you have to work for 16 hours, do that. Okay, you will have to work hard. ठीक है? और करना भी क्या है? In any case, हमें क्या करना है? काम भी तो करना है. So work hard. Okay, and then start with the stretch assignment. Once you're comfortable with tech, then say reach out to your manager and product manager and say, hi, I would want to take up this stretch assignment. Almost all companies allow that. Okay, and then move completely into that product management role, work there for 2 years, at least 2 years, because that's when you will get to understand it, and then change your company if you wish to, or continue in the same company if you wish to. This is how I have made career transitions. Yeah.
Yeah, sure. Thank you so much, ma'am.
You're welcome, Saket.
Thank you, Saket. Next, Deepika.
Good evening, ma'am.
Hey, hi, Deepika. Good evening.
Hi. Ma'am, I want to know what are the important marketing tools we need to know before launching a product in the market.
When you say important marketing things, what would you mean by that, Deepika? I didn't get the question. I'm sorry.
Like customers, what the customers want, or what the basic needs are before launching a product in the market.
Acha. Okay. So Deepika, I think that's the core intent behind doing the market research part. That is exactly what we're trying to identify here. Okay. So what is it that you should? उसको बोलो मैं 2 मिनट में कॉल करूँ. So what so your question is that what kind of inputs you should already have before you decide to launch a product, right? So a couple of things, Deepika. You have to identify one, who your customer is. Okay, you have to also identify if your customer and consumer are same. What I will leave you with an example here is, think of Maggi noodles. Who's the consumer? The children, apparently. Who's the customer? Parent. What kind of marketing strategy have they used? They have used a marketing strategy which is applicable both for parents and children. Correct? It is not just that कि बच्चे के लिए ad बना दिया. It is that mothers को भी they have targeted it. So so you have, sorry, my dog is barking, I don't know why. So yeah, it doesn't bark generally, but today it's decided to bark. Okay, anyway, so yeah, so you have to identify who your customer and consumers are. You have to understand where do you find them. Okay, your generation people, if I start launching Facebook ad, that may not be a great thing. If I have to reach you, what is the best way to reach you? I think Instagram, because that's where I will find you, right? So if I think, okay, I'm going to do LinkedIn ad and I will do a newspaper ad, I'm like the biggest fool. Huh? पता चला कोई भी बच्चा नहीं देख रहा है, because nobody reads newspaper. Like my daughter will say, Mom, who buys newspaper? You're the only one who buys newspaper. But I come from a generation where we buy newspapers and we read newspapers. Your generation will probably have soft, what do you say, e-subscriptions of all of those newspapers. All right. So, you have to understand where you will find your user. Okay, that's point number 2. When will you find your user? What time will I find you guys if I have to reach you? Maybe after 6 o'clock. So if I run any ad campaign between morning 10 to 6, is it a good idea? It's a bad idea, because I will not find you. If I have to find you, maybe around lunchtime. So you have to get all of those things. So that is the finding part. Okay. Second part, what are the kind of tools that you use? Should I run a mobile ad or should I run a web app ad? I have to also look at that. Should I use a Google ad or should I use a Facebook or should I use an Instagram? That also I have to see, because my budget has to be built. All right. And the most important thing is the messaging part. What do you want to hear? I have to only say that. If I say random things, you're not going to listen to me. So what is your problem that you are facing that my product will solve will solve it? Has to be done. The graphics, the image, everything matters. The font size, the font type, the content, everything makes a difference. And that is how we decide our marketing plan. So it depends. That is my answer, Deepika. I hope I was able to clarify. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Deepika. Next, Ojaswini.
Yeah, hello, ma'am.
Hi, Ojaswini.
Yeah. See, my question is that we are entering into the metaverse. So what changes should the entrepreneurs cultivate in them to match up with that verse?
Yeah, metaverse is more about, building community, right? And Facebook already has billions of users and they want to create a virtual community building kind of a, experience for the user. So you and I mean, thanks to Facebook, we feel that we're great friends because we chat with each other on Facebook or WhatsApp, etc. But I can tell you one thing, guys, and I say this to my daughter, also, that you don't make friends because you chat with somebody on WhatsApp. You become friends when you spend time with them and you are with them through their thick and thin. My class 10 friends, also I talked to them today. Why? Because, when they were going through their breakup or bad time or whatever, we were there with each other. All right. That's how you build friendships. Okay. It's not like I will unfollow you, or I don't know, what do you call it? Delete your friends request, or I'll delete you from my friends list and get done. It doesn't happen like that. But anyways, coming back to the metaverse part, it's more about building community. All right. And that's what they are wanting to leverage on. We'll have to wait and watch, honestly, Jaswini. I do not know. For smaller startups, would it be possible for us to build like that metaverse kind of an experience? I mean, you're eating somewhere, I'm eating somewhere, Zomato decides to launch some kind of that kind of thing that, okay, mummy kahin aur kha rahi, papa kahin aur kha rahe, and we're all, decide to assemble at some function that's happening in maybe LA, and we all decide to go there virtually and eat food together, though I don't know. I honestly don't know. I'm also waiting to see that. I think it would be interesting. From a startup point of view, Ojaswini, will totally depend on what kind of business you're planning to get into. And would you need a solution like metaverse to be part of your solution? I mean, it will sort of depend on that. I mean, that's my take. One thing that I feel honestly is really going to change the way that businesses are going to be done is going to be decentralization. All right. Abhi tak there has been a consolidation of user generated content through the tech giants like Google and Facebook and Insta and every single Amazon, etc. All right, where it is our content, we are generating our content, and now they're using our content, our information to determine what kind of marketing things we should see and what kind of product should we buy, etc. I think that decentralization is going to be happening with the advent of Web 3.2. And of course, blockchain is going to help us build our personas, and we can decide and determine what we want to see and don't want to see. All right. So I think that is definitely one thing. I'm still reading about Web 3.2 and I'm quite intrigued by it. But I think that is one thing that's going to be a game changer. And most of the companies have started adopting it. But metaverse, honestly, I have never been a big fan of virtual friendships, honestly. So I think, I don't know. I mean, how it will impact the business will depend on what kind of business are you going to get into. Is it going to be a community kind of a business where you feel people will need to meet virtually, etc.? Maybe yes, then you may need to use metaverse kind of a functionality as a part of your business.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, thank you, Ajaswani. So
Yeah.
before we move further, the QR scan will be the QR code will be sent in the chat box. So I would request everyone to scan that QR code and fill your attendance, and that would lead you to have a e-certificate. So don't miss out on that. And I guess there is some time constraint. So ma'am, if you want, we can take this as a last question. And
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Dipansh, please come up with a question.
Yeah, good evening, ma'am.
Hi,
Yeah,
Dipansh,
my
good
question
evening.
is like related to the Ojashwini's question, like it is also basically related to the metaverse. So like, ma'am, if I'm having a business related to the IT industry, and do you think like we should also launch NFTs for our product to be like in a metaverse? People are planting NFTs for like there's a painting, so they are showcasing in their building on a metaverse. So do you think like our products will be on a NFTs?
What kind of products, Dipansh? And I still
Like-
have to study. I still have to bring myself up for the NFT part. So I'm still learning on that part. So maybe I would not be the right person to answer this particular question. But what kind of product would you want to be launched? I mean, what kind of product that you want to launch for NFTs is something that I'm curious to
No,
understand.
ma'am, just like basic normal products like that is mostly for a advertisement part. Like nowadays we are having an advertisement in our digital medias, in social medias and everything else. But with the time consuming in a decade, also we are getting a that ads on a NFT market. In like if there is a Maggie ad, so we can just launch a NFT of a Maggie for that ad, and then we just put it in a metaverse. So is
I
it
will.
something?
I would not be the right person to comment on that, Dipansh, because like I said, I have not done my. I've not finished my study on the entire aspect of, I would say, metaverse and also Web 3.0. Maybe once I have done that, I would be happy to take this question. If required, I do have experts who can, who can guide you more on these particular topics. I'm happy to conduct a session if you guys want it, and where you can ask these very specific questions with respect to metaverse and Web 3.0 and blockchain and NFTs and all of that. You can definitely ask them, because they are hardcore working in this particular space. So those of you who are interested in launching their businesses in this area, I think they would be the right team to answer it rather than me.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
I'm really sorry, but I wouldn't want to give you any wrong information because I do not know enough about this topic right now.
Okay, ma'am. Yeah, thank you.
But I will read up. Now that you've asked me, I will read up.
Okay, ma'am.
Thank you, Dipansh. And once again, I would request all of you to scan this QR code. And yeah, we will move further.
Do you know, before you are a leader, success is all about growing yourself. When you become a leader, success is about growing others. Thank you so much, ma'am, for this amazing workshop. And we hope the strategies on market research, product management, and the mood creation will help our young entrepreneurs to build their careers.
Thank you so much for this opportunity as well. And I really enjoyed this session thoroughly. Yeah, so happy to connect with any one of you. If you have any other specific questions, etc., I'm happy to connect with you.
Ma'am, what we'll do is really share your, if you want, we will share your LinkedIn ID to the students.
Yes,
so
you can do that.
if they want, they can connect with you on LinkedIn.
Absolutely. Happy to do that.
Yeah. So
and I will
coming
read up
towards
about NFT. I have to do that. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, coming towards the end, I, Datin Prajapati, would like to take this opportunity to deliver the vote of thanks. On behalf of ESL IBS Mumbai, we would like to extend heartfelt gratitude to all the dignitaries and event attendees for being such a lovely audience. We would thank our prestigious institute IBS Mumbai for giving us this wonderful opportunity. We would like to thank Mridula Chetri ma'am for helping us in spreading awareness about entrepreneurship. Also, special thanks to Dr. Priti Saxena ma'am, Professor Hemant Purandare sir, and Professor Priyanka Mathur Dhingra ma'am for the constant guidance and support. We would like to thank our club mentors, Dr. Onita Joshi ma'am and Dr. Rupali Srivastava ma'am for guiding throughout the event. We would also like to thank Mr. Praveen Sawant sir and the technical team for their unwavering support. Thank you, Team Discipline Committee, for the smooth execution of the event, and the Team Digital Ambassador for covering the event.
With this, we would like to sign off and leave you for the food of thought. A good leader is not only who knows how to command, but the one who binds his team strongly together and leads them from front. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining, and thank you so much, Mridula ma'am, for sharing such a wonderful wisdom and knowledge with us. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, everyone. Have a nice evening. Stay safe. Bye-bye.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Take care. Bye-bye.
Ritik, are you there? Hello, Ritik. Yes, Ritik, share the screen now for QR.
So, guys, anyone of you is still left can scan the QR code.
Hamdeep, are you facing any problem while scanning?
No, no.
Yeah,
No, no, no.
if you are facing any problem, you can let us know.
Can we leave the meeting?
Yeah, if you're done scanning the QR code, you can leave the meet. Yeah, thank you.
Should I scan the QR code? Like, I don't know. Like,
You need to have an application from where you can scan the QR code, or else you can directly like if your phone supports that, you can directly scan from your you will have that option of Google Lens. So you can yeah, Google Lens. So from there you can scan the QR code, Google Lens.
You can do it from your phone's camera too.
Yeah, so if it's supported in your phone, so you can scan from your mobile too. But if you don't have that, you need to have a Google Lens. So from there you can scan the QR code. And if anyone is facing some other issue, then please let us know. Wait.
I do not have Google Lens as well as I'm not able to scan it also. Using scanner also, I'm not able to do it.
So I guess you need to first you need to install, or you need to have Google Lens. It will just take a while. It will just take a minute to have Google Lens on your phone.
Or else what we can do, if you guys are having like facing issue, raise your hand. किसको मतलब scan में issue आ रहा है?
I guess we can also scan from Google.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, there's an option inside the Google scan option. So no need to download Lens.
Yeah, you can directly get it from there.
Those who scan and can leave the meet now.
Yes, if you're done with the scanning
Can
the.
we get a link for the same?
Sorry.
Can we get a attendance link?
Nisarg, do we have any access of that?
No, you need to scan from your phone. So I'm showing you a way out. Don't worry.
Actually, we are connecting from mobile. That's fine.
Do we have to fill that form?
How should we scan using the Google Lens? Like, I have Google Lens on my phone. So how should I like scan it?
So yeah, if you have Google Lens, so you'll get an option of scanning a QR code at the bottom of your screen. So if you select that QR thing, you will be able to scan this QR.
So here it is written translate text to search, homework, shopping. So all of these things are written.
Tap just focus on that and the form will be shown there. Just focus on that link.
Where?
That QR. Okay.
From where?
Only just focus on that um, keyword, you will get the form link. Just search button.
Yes, Nihal, if you are done scanning the QR code, you can leave.
See, as soon as you place your cameras just in front of the scanner, your Google Lens cameras, the Google will say tap.
Will automatically scan the QR.
It will give the link to the form.
Yeah. Devi Prasad has a question that how can we get the live project to do? So we will be sharing the details about it. Am I right, Nisar?
Yes, actually, Devi, in the form itself, there is a question, are you interested for live project? So select yes, and then the company will decide further.
So yeah, if you selected yes, then the company will approach you about it, and you will get all the connecting links from the company itself. So fill that form.
Rutuja,
Rutuja and
Pragati,
Pragati, like, yeah, Nisar.
Yeah, actually, I still not unable to scan that code. So if
So
I
if
join
you,
through my laptop and then I start scan, then it will be okay.
but the thing is, one person has already shared the link. So if you want, you can access that link, or you can fill the form from that link.
Okay, so after filling the form, will I get certificate?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Thanks.
What should we do?
Everybody who's facing issue, there's a link of the Google form directly shared in the chat. You can just enter to the form by clicking on that link.
Thank you, Sushmita. It was glad having you all. Such a lovely audience. Thank you. And yes, we will be coming up with such sessions. So I would say that follow ESL, the Instagram ID of ESL. So you will be updated about such sessions with the time. So yeah, I would say that do follow ESL on Instagram, and you will be updated about all the upcoming sessions and such informative sessions on Instagram.
Yes, Pragati.
How will we get to know about the live project?
So if Pragati, have you filled the form?
Yeah, I just filled the form.
Whose question was that? Who asked the question?
Pragati.
In the form.
No, for that live project thing.
Yes.
Okay, Divyanshi, yeah. So if you have filled the form, you might have got that question. Not might, you have got that question that are you interested in a live project? So if you click yes over there, then the company will send the coordinating links to you for the live projects.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Jaikishan and Shashwat. Are you guys there?
Yes.
Thanks for joining. We are done with the event. You guys may leave if you want to, because we are just finishing up with the procedure and we'll end the meeting.
We cannot leave before you end the meeting, so we will
Fine,
be staying.
works. It was just for your convenience.
Okay, no problem.
So I fill the form. So can I leave?
Yes. If you're done filling the form, you can leave.
Guys, for such an informative session.
Thank you, Pragati. Thank you so much for patiently listening to this.
Yeah, most welcome.
Great session. Thank you, Kumud. Thank you so much. Is there anyone who is late for filling the form? So, just because we also need to wind up the thing.
Then we'll wait for 5 more minutes and then we'll end the meeting.
Okay, Pallavi. Okay, guys, we will be ending the meeting in next 2 minutes. So if you guys are still left for filling or scanning the QR code, please do the same and do the needful. Thank you.
Guys, we hope everybody is done scanning the code and filling up the form. We would like to end this meeting. Thank you everyone for joining in. Have a nice day.
Thank you everyone for joining and having patience. So thank you so much, and yeah, have a great weekend. Good night. Bye bye. Take care, everyone.